Welcome one, welcome all to the Video Game AV Club.
Are you ready to talk
Um,
about some Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
Why unsing?
Because that was like at the beginning, it's her party mix, and at the
Yeah,
end,
I guess.
where's
Was
your
that same song?
head at? Where's your head at?
Was that same song on the party mix in the beginning?
I think it was a different song.
So yeah, this month, because we do this once a month, we watched Lara Croft Tomb Raider
From
2001. Right?
2001.
Yes. Do you like this movie?
I do like this movie. I own this movie because you can only really watch it on, I think it's available on Apple TV and HBO Max right now. So it's not on Netflix. You can rent it on Amazon Prime, but other than that,
Hard to find.
yeah.
Is it hard to find the second one too?
Yeah. The second one's Cradle of Life. It's not as well
Popular,
yeah.
because this one is pretty popular. This one I think is probably one of the best video game movies.
It was one of the good adaptations.
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good. So this is from 2001. It is directed by Simon West, who was the director of Con Air. It was interesting looking at the writing of this. So originally there was a script that came out in 1998 and then got rejected by Brent Friedman. It was Lara Croft's like at a boarding school, and so they're like, no. And so 5 people are under the writing guise of this one. We have Patrick Massett and John Zinman, who are a writing duo that wrote for Friday Night Lights and The Blacklist, and they are credited with the screenplay, and then the story is credited with Sarah B. Cooper, who wrote for the Sci-Fi Channel Continuum and Sanctuary, and she also wrote for House. Mike Werb, who wrote for Face Off and The Mask, and Michael Collery, who also wrote for Face Off. And then
wrote for Face Off?
Well,
like
the movie.
reality? Okay.
The movie.
Okay.
Swapping faces.
You have to write the script for the judges.
Well, I mean, they have the McKinsey heads.
The host.
Yeah,
probably,
she's got
but
scripts
like,
to read.
I feel like you just need one person for that, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, the movie Face Off with John Travolta
Okay.
and yeah. This stars Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. We have John Voight, who plays Laura's dad in real life and in the movie, because John Voight is Angelina Jolie's father. Ian Glenn, who is known as Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones. He is our villain. Daniel Craig plays somewhat of a love interest.
I guess.
Kind of.
It's just some guy.
Some dude, Alex. And then we have her trusty companions, Noah Taylor, who plays Bryce, the
random tech lad that she decided to hire.
Yeah, and he lives in
a trailer by her house.
And then Chris Berry is Henry, who is her
Would
butler.
also say maybe love interest. Not the butler.
Noah, or Bryce?
Maybe.
I don't think she sees him like that. It did come out in 2001. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. It made 131 million in US and 274 worldwide. It was the 14th highest earning film in 2001. This is the same year that The Fast and the Furious started, Harry Potter started. It's also the year that Monsters Inc. came out, and Shrek too.
Dang,
so a lot of good movies in
lots of better
2001. Do you want to guess what Rotten Tomato score was for this?
Oh boy, probably like really low, huh?
Yeah,
like a good old splat 37.
20 from critics, 47 from the audience.
That. Never trust Rotten Tomatoes.
They really didn't like the script. They thought the script was nonsensical. Like the story didn't have a point to it. I'm like, you were not paying attention then.
A weird critique. I definitely thought you could understand the script.
It was an odd mix of reviews. I actually read some of them
to try to think. You ever had those people who are just like, there's too many storylines I can't follow.
Yeah, there's some people that like a traditional story where there's just one plot line.
There's so many things out there that have multiple plot lines. Like I think
most
more
books now have at least 3 plot lines that end up coming together at the end.
More books, more TV shows and stuff have multiple plot lines.
Yeah. How
do you survive if you can only handle one plot line? That is such a dumb critique.
I think also all these critics are watching like multiple movies all the time.
Excuses.
But that's your job. So
get over yourself.
So the synopsis of this movie is Lara Croft is the world's most famous video game heroine, burst into the big screen in the, quote, most stylish and entertaining action-adventure movie in years, end quote. Exploring lost empires, finding priceless treasures, punished villains in mortal combat. It's all in a day's work for adventurer Lara Croft, played by Angelina Jolie. But a secret from her father's, Jon Voight's past, is about to lead Lara into her greatest challenge. The Triangle of Light, a legendary artifact with the power to alter time and space. Lara must find the triangle before it falls into the clutches of the Illuminati, a secret society bent on world domination. To stop the Illuminati, Lara will have to survive a cross-continental chase filled with unimaginable danger, but for the Tomb Raider, danger is the name of the game. Do we feel like that's an accurate description of this movie?
It's very vague, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, they give you the kind of highlights. This is what we're after. We're going to go to multiple places.
The bad guy's the Illuminati, which is super funny.
Oh, well, I've seen this movie multiple times. I will continue to watch this movie multiple times. What did you think?
I liked it. I would watch it again. I think it's a pretty good video game movie.
Yeah. I think Angelina Jolie was a great choice for Lara Croft.
Mm-hmm.
She is a good actress when it comes to action adventure.
I like how wacky it is, like Tomb Raider is.
Yes. There's a lot of early CGI stuff in here as well, but I think it wasn't too bad. Yeah,
it holds up pretty well.
Held up pretty well.
Holds up a little bit better, I would say, than a couple of the Resident Evils.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't know, their CGI zombies and lickers are kind of rough.
Yeah.
Now.
It is not canon to the game, but as we'll talk about as we get deep dive into the movie, it's very much inspired by, but it holds some of the same elements as the game does.
It would be a sick game.
Yes.
But it is not. And in the movie, we have to watch it instead.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
We start our film with Lara Croft zoomed in, and we find out she's hanging upside down.
She's in a tomb, quote unquote.
It looks like a tomb.
It looks like a tomb. And I don't know what she's doing, but she gets attacked by a giant robot.
Yeah.
Spider looking thing. And just unloads her guns on it.
She's just shooting up the place. So hopefully these were not actual artifacts.
Oh, she doesn't care.
But she doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
So they probably were.
Probably, actually. Yeah. This is what she does with all of her artifacts that she acquires. She just puts them in her home tomb. This isn't her house, by the way. I'm spoiling it ahead of time. She just puts it in there and crushes it later.
Yeah, they're like tossing around and she gets thrown and then she does little like somersaults and
she shoots it. She drops a pillar on it. She pulls out its wires until it dies.
And then she goes to get her prize, which when she grabs it, you find out it's a USB stick that has music on it.
Oh boy.
Laura's party mix.
And then she drags the robot back into her tech dweeb's lair.
Who's playing a game and not even paying attention.
Yeah. And she's like, it said kill Lara Croft. She's like, did you program it to kill me or stop?
Was it gonna stop before it took my head off?
And it wasn't.
And he said, you asked for a challenge. And she was like, that's what, hence the live round. So she basically destroyed this who knows how expensive robot.
Yeah.
But she don't care.
She don't care. She just walks off.
And then it's the shower scene. She's taking a shower.
For a long time.
And she's like flipping her hair in the shower.
And I guess her butler's mad that she doesn't act more like a lady.
And she's really inappropriate with this guy because he's like, here, I have a dress for you. Be ladylike. And she just drops her towel and she's naked in front of him. That's like sexual harassment.
I don't know. That was her like caregiver. Basically dad. Yeah. Right?
Well, it's different in the game versus this guy's not that much older than she is.
He looks like it, but like I don't know. He could be. They don't elaborate.
Weird.
Then she's asleep.
We go to Venice, Italy.
Oh, I skipped that scene because I don't care. So continue.
This is where Venice, Italy. So yeah, she we find out that her dad is missing, and then we go to Venice where we meet a group of men who are like, it's May 15th, the first day of the Planetary Alliance. And we get to meet Mr. Powell, whose name is Manfred. Yes. Obvious villain. And he's got a butler as well, but we'll talk about more about him later, maybe, because he's not really important at all.
He's not important.
There's the council. He's asking for more time. They're like, guess what, dude? You don't have time. These things only happen once every 5,000 years. So basically, this is your background of the time period and the setting. This is our exposition where we're setting up everything. And then we see that Laura is in an observatory. And she's super rich because she has a giant star. Like,
I think she's super rich because she has a giant mansion with robots.
And her butler comes in to be like, hey, what's our next adventure? Let me give you all these dossiers that I don't know who put them together. And she's like being super moody, and because it is the day that her dad disappeared, or it's the anniversary of the day that her dad disappeared, and so it's never a good day. Then she has the dream where she's talking to her dad in a tent. He shows us a picture of a pocket watch with her mom in it, and she's like, "Mommy." So that's the only mention of the mom ever.
We did talk about the mom. You said she was a painter.
In the reboot games, so the newer ones, when you get to explore the mansion, you find out more information about the mom. The mom has, she was mostly known as a painter, but she has more interaction than just a slight mention. So
because I was wondering how they get all that money, because I know you don't make bank being an archaeologist.
No. I think you have to have money in order to be an archaeologist.
You might make bank if you sell all the stuff that you steal on the black market, which maybe he did.
Well, but I think historically,
they think it's a family money, right?
Yeah, because most like 1800s archaeologists, they came from money because it was like a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
That was the establishment thing, and then they took all these pieces
like big
and displayed
game hunting for endangered species.
Yeah,
same tier of shit hobby.
Let me steal the stuff that doesn't belong to me. Look what I salvaged and saved.
I saved so much money being an archaeologist and a painter.
But basically she wants to get back the time that was stolen from them, and so she's dreaming about the conversation that she had with her dad, I don't know, like 15 years ago. Where you're talking about the planetary alignment, and then all of a sudden she hears this clicking sound. And it's so annoying that she busts open her own house again.
Yeah, this clock just suddenly started working.
It was like packaged in this crate that was hidden under the stairs in a secret room. Clock. And yet she's like, oh, I hear it. It's
maybe
so
she's
annoying.
like the Princess and the Pea, where she has like really good hearing. So she sent her nerd friend to help figure out what's in it. Like, why did it start ticking?
So he's like, let me get my camera, and he's like delicately like trying to find what's inside of it, and he's like taking apart the screws, and then she's like, it's a puzzle, I'm gonna solve it. And she picks it up and smashes it apart.
I thought she smashed it with like a hammer.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah.
Puzzle solved.
Puzzle solved. There's something inside of it, and it's this
eyeball, I think they call it. The all-seeing eye.
In the triangle. There's like a triangle in the eye, and then there's like this...
The Illuminati symbol, basically.
Illuminati symbol. So we have...
So she's gonna go show it to a friend that she had? An old man.
Yes. It is... I wrote down his name, but
you know what? It's just an old man.
He's at an auction house. He was friends with her dad.
She gets on her motorcycle and drives over to the auction house, where she just sits and puts her feet up nonchalantly and waves, but they think that she bid on something.
Which I don't even, do we see what it was?
I don't remember.
And it was
like something $1 billion.
2.4 million pounds.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh crap.
Oh crap. And luckily somebody swooped in and did a bigger bid, but I thought that was a good bit, waving at your friend at the auction house, and now you're bidding.
Nah, haha. And then he has her, his name is Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson.
He has her meet her in his office, and on the way to the office, she runs into Daniel Craig, who is Alex, the archaeologist West. And he's like, oh, are you still calling yourself a treasure
journalist,
hunter?
I think is
she's
what he
like,
said.
Are you still calling yourself an archaeologist? So they have banter because, they have sexual history.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Why is he at the auction house? I guess.
Maybe the same reason she is. Maybe he needed to talk to Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she talks to the old man to help her with this, and he said he can't, I guess. So.
But they talk about that there's this thing called the magical triangle, which is the triangle of light. So a magical triangle with the all-seeing eye, and it controls time is the story behind it. So
Okay.
that was the point of that. And then...
But actually, he can help her, and he calls her later.
Yeah.
After she leaves, and is back in her house.
Where she explodes a frozen dinner in the microwave. No, wait.
Because I like that bit.
Okay.
Because, yeah, he calls, and is like, another man can help you. And then you hear something explode in a squishy way. So they play it off like he just got killed, but she just exploded a burrito in the microwave. And I liked that bit. I thought that was pretty good.
How long do you think that they had to put that thing in the microwave to explode it? Or do you think they put something in there?
I think they absolutely put something in there already.
To explode it?
Yeah.
Like
or they just covered the sides with like goop.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would have done.
Not just put a burrito in there for like 20 minutes and be like, let's see how long it takes. The person that he connects her to, which he like he has a picture of her dad on his desk, and he's like, I'm so sorry, but it's Manfred Pal, who is a clock enthusiast, is what he tells her.
Yeah, so he says he's a lawyer.
Yes. And this is where we first meet Mr. Pimps, is his...
Okay, Pimps was his butler.
Associate. He's like, I'm his associate.
Yeah, lawyers have those.
And she does not bring the clock. She brings a picture of it. And then he is being all snooty and stuff, and he says, my ignorance amuses me.
Yeah, and so she's laughing about it with her tech dude, and she thinks that he's full of shit.
Yes. Which is good, because later that night... Everyone's getting settled down, and Laura is doing her bungee dancing.
Yeah, she has like a bungee cord in that... Okay, so it's like her middle of her house, right?
Yeah.
And isn't that where the tech dude set up stuff is? Because she's doing it by the tech bro stuff.
I don't know.
And there's also stairs behind her.
So it's like the entryway or the living room?
All of the tomb and tech stuff in the middle of her living room, where she also bungee jumps to relax, I guess.
She's doing like acrobatic stuff.
Anyway, evil SWAT is here.
And they're walking around because the tech guy, they locked the tech guy in his trailer, and...
That's nice of them.
They
didn't just shoot him.
They shoot him later, which is weird. But they shoot like around the door, not like through the door. So
maybe they were trying to don't go anywhere.
It's a weird. So she sees that the alarms go off as she's doing her little dancey thingy, and then she hauls up on a chandelier. And these, I mean, they're like bigger than SWAT because they just like pop in through the ceiling, and they have live rounds, and they're just gonna shoot everything up.
Yeah, they're just gonna shoot her and steal her clock eye thing.
And destroy her house, which the butler has to clean up.
And even though they have body armor on to, like, in case she decides to shoot back, she just kicks their shit in. I know it's supposed to block bullets, but what about these hands?
Yeah, she punches them in the face, and then
she kicks them.
She got the world's sharpest knife, because then she just like flies around.
It's incredible.
With one little
her secret
swipe.
Power is her ability to kick. Because damn.
But they are not successful, or they are successful.
They are successful.
They steal the clock.
They do. At what cost? How many guys have to die?
Yeah, but then they also like take the dead people with them.
That's true. They're good. They're very efficient.
They like got out of there in like no time.
Would hire them for my next hit.
I like how you said your next hit, not your first hit.
Well, yeah. So I managed to take the eye thing. She doesn't hire anyone to help clean up the mess in the mansion that they made. Instead, she has her tech friend and butler do it.
Yeah.
Because she gets a package or a letter. She gets a letter in the mail, and they're like, "Is anyone here, Lara Croft?" And they're like sweeping, and she just comes downstairs. Right? She's like, just woke up. Like, yeah, that's me. I'm not doing anything.
She signs it, and she's like, I just woke up today and hated everything.
Yeah.
She makes her look like a class act.
I mean, because I was like, why does she just hire somebody to clean this shit up? She could just lie to them, too.
Yeah, you'd have to explain.
But
why are all these bullet holes?
She gets a letter from her dad saying to go to Cambodia.
Yeah, it's this whole William Blake poem. There's like a secret letter.
Pretentious as hell.
And then he tells her this whole story. He's got like a secret letter hidden. Like, it's really weird. And then...
Now that you've been shot up, I have time to send you this letter.
So we are in some ruins in Cambodia. They have she had 15 hours to get to Cambodia before the next alignment, which is going to show them the next clue.
She has to get there fast because so she can't use her own equipment for some reason.
She calls in a favor.
So she calls in a favor because she used to be military, I guess.
And the favor is, I'm going to be in this Jeep and you're going to just drop me off in the air so that I have a ride and
Jeep,
a GPS.
Guns,
and
GPS.
Guns.
I need it fast.
So she pulls up and she can see that Mr. Powell and her ex-boyfriend Alex are pulling apart this temple with the help of like an entire village.
They never say that they're exes. You're implying a lot. Is it because their faces were really close? Is it because they have a mouth to mouth at one point?
Yeah.
Because he dies.
Yeah, history. He's just like naked right in front of her too. Like
that doesn't mean you were dating before.
She's like, always a pleasure is what she says at that point. So, yes, they have.
So they're using the locals, like using them.
To tear down the temple.
Yeah.
And he says there's 72 minutes until the next alignment, so hurry your butts up. And so she's like, I gotta find another way in. So she goes around the back. She sees some butterflies and stops. Gets out, and then she sees this little girl
running around. She follows the little girl ghost. It seems like it's a ghost.
Yeah, it's like a little girl. Divine intervention.
Who knows?
Because she gets these messages in multiple languages.
Have more information than I do because I just skip right ahead to them working together.
Oh, and then so she gets a warning, but then she also gets pointed to Jasmine, which was in the letter. Jasmine is important. And so she goes and she picks the jasmine flower, and then all of a sudden the ground falls down below. And she falls through to the temple, and they're also in the temple, and they're trying to figure things out. They have like 2 minutes. And so there's a giant statue, and he's like, "Oh, put the swords in place."
Yeah,
and
then out the swords and putting them.
She's like reading the ancient script on the wall, and she's like, "Oh, touch anything and we're dead." Okay, I'll understand. I don't know why I've got an Australian accent. She's British.
They're all touching everything down there. Like, it's fine.
And there you see these like monkey statues, and in the middle of the floor in the room, there is a place for the clock to go. But then Lara Croft turns around and there's this like wind piece that matches up together as it twirls, and she's like,
puzzle game.
I figured out the puzzle. And then she yells at Mr. Powell, and then she gets shot at, and they're like, what do you want? It's like, you're doing it wrong, idiots.
Yeah.
Give me the thing, I'll do it. And he's like, how could I trust you? She's like, well, I need you to do this so that I can steal the thing from you. And he's like, okay. And with the longest 40 seconds ever, because they're counting down.
Seconds,
I'm like,
it sure does sound
it's been like 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah.
And so that opens up like a log that comes down, and she has to jump on it because the log has to pierce the urn that the statue is holding, and it's not moving fast enough. So she's like, fine, let me jump on it and do all the work. So she seesaws it like back and forth like a swing.
Yeah.
And it finally pierces, and all of a sudden, blinding light and magic Mercury comes out of the ground with a half of a triangle.
Yep.
So she steals the triangle.
Takes the triangle, and the Mercury goes into the monkey statues.
And they're the guardians, and it brings them to life, and they start
attacking everybody. So she's got to fight these monkey statues.
And then the giant statue comes to life and picks up all the swords.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. She's got to fight that. She just shoots at it a lot.
And then it's got 3 faces, so it's like 3 rounds of a boss battle.
Mm-hmm. And when she manages to take that thing out, then she runs out of the temple with her triangle, and
this flying dog statue thing picks her up and flies her out. And
very nice of it.
It touches the sun, and she falls to the ground. And the funny thing is like, as soon as she falls to the ground, you look around, all the people that were in the temple are just like sitting around waiting.
Powell and Alex and the other guy are just like hanging out, waiting for her to get done. You guys done with that boss fight yet?
Yeah.
Like, and she looks at them and is like, oh, and then runs away.
So she runs away, and she makes it through the jungle, and then Alex stops her, and she's like, are you going to shoot me? And then she swan dives off into a waterfall, and then she's in a Cambodian village.
Yep. And she asked to use their phone
in Cambodian. So she makes a long distance phone call to Mr. Powell and says, "Hey, let's work together." And then she calls Bryce and says, "Hey, I got the triangle thingy, but Powell's there.
And I need the other triangle thingy."
So we're going to work together. Get on a plane."
Yep. And he says you gotta go to Venice, so.
Yeah.
But before that, she's gotta go to the Buddhist temple and drink magic healing tea.
Yes.
Because I guess she got shot in the arm or something.
Mm-hmm. And then she gets some advice to, like, leave it alone. You're messing with time, lady. So that's her second warning.
Smash cut to Venice.
Doot, 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 doot.
She's meeting in the Illuminati throne room.
And she's obsessed with, like, who sits in the middle chair.
Who sits in the big chair?
I don't think it's you.
You don't sit in the big chair, do you? You're a small man. Powell wants to be partners, which is what she called to tell him about, so, like, makes sense. Powell and her late father were part of the Illuminati.
She's like, lies. He would have told me, although I was only 6.
If he was part of a secret society, you think he would have told me? I don't think he would have told you.
No, that's a weird
Dear
thing
daughter,
to tell your daughter.
I wouldn't believe him. If somebody told me they were part of the Illuminati, I definitely wouldn't, even if they were.
Yeah. Illuminati confirmed.
And I'd stop hanging out with them because they're crazy.
Why are all these people following me?
Yeah, she's like, we'll team up, but we like won't team up because I don't really trust you. So
Yeah,
it's
she's like, you're just gonna try to kill me.
But I'm okay with that because I can dodge. So,
So this is our second shower scene, and now it's Alex in the shower, and he hears something, so he just goes butt-ass naked out and opens the door to the hotel room and scares the maid.
Yep.
She screams and throws towels at him. Oh, that's not good for you, sir.
And he walks back into his shower, and the word traitor is written on the fog.
He walked right past Lara Croft, just sitting at the table.
Yeah. Unless she was under the table. She's hiding. She's like, he has to see that first. It's going to be really cool.
She's got like her feet on the table. And she's like,
Did he see it? And she like jumps up and puts her feet up. Oh, I was just hanging out the whole time. She like trips.
Because like putting your feet on the table makes noise.
She did it really quietly.
Just like sitting there. Just like a cat. Oh.
And threatens him and then dips.
And she's like, always a pleasure. And he's like, now I need a cold shower. So Croft and Powell decide to join sides, and she brings Bryce in to help her. They are going to go to the ruined city, which is a dead zone, and now we're in Siberia.
And we're in Russia. She's going to a crater in the lake, so she needs sled dogs.
And Bryce...
And boat cars.
Yeah, Bryce is like...
Cool.
We take all the doggies, play much U.S. greenbacks. I'm like, they're British. Why are they not using pounds? And we're in Russia, Siberia. Does it have to be U.S. or is it just U.S. because it's like a U.S. movie?
I don't know. So anyway, they go into the temple and they find that thing you looked up, which I forgot what it was called.
Oh, before we get there though, because she has her third warning. So there's up there at the village, there's another little girl who was like, "You're gonna risk everything just for your father," and she's like, "What?" And then she looks away, and then there's Jasmine where the girl was. So this is her third warning.
From the gods.
Yeah, so we go on the cool boat,
boat trucks,
and then because it's a dead zone, there's no like electricity stuff. They take the dog sleds into a cave, and then she's like, "Oh, I solved this puzzle too. Let me ring this bell and open up this ice door that's definitely gonna murder everyone in that room."
The ice shatters, somehow doesn't hit any of them.
The vibrations to destroy an ice door would like melt your brain.
It hurt their ears.
And then it shatters and all the ice comes towards them. I'm like, all those people are now dead.
Yeah, but she smiles about it.
Yeah,
so.
she's like, hee hee. So now we're in this
I like how she smiles like she's super smart and solved the puzzle. Like she just rang a bell and she's like, "I'm so clever.
There's nothing else around. It was just a bell, so I decided to ring it. I knew it was going to happen the whole time. This is why I stepped to the side. Silly boy.
Silly boy. Can't solve puzzles. Can't ring bells."
It's an orrery, which is like a planetarium type thing where the planets like circle around until they align. It's this giant ass machine though, and it looks super dangerous.
It's so cool.
It's very cool. And it's in the middle of like a pond, of course.
How do you, would you call it an Oreo?
An orrery. Orrery.
An Oreo.
I thought it was an astrolabe, but that's what the clock was.
Orrery.
Ry.
Oh, okay. What does it do? Like, what's the point of
It's
those?
to show the time that the planets align. It's to show the rotation of the planets. Or they go around the sun.
Interesting. I thought I saw that prop before in like a different movie, but I don't actually think I have. So
they definitely destroy that thing.
well, they kind of destroy that
Yeah.
thing. They destroy some of the arms on the thing.
The behind the scenes, so if you watch the like making of, they talk about how dangerous that set was because the pieces move, and so they're moving it, but it's still a heavy set, and like you can see when they start to like jump on it that people just get knocked off left and right into the water.
Oh yeah.
But they're falling from heights into water with like metal things around them, so they're like, yeah, this has to be like very well timed because we have two actors that could definitely die.
So they said like time is broken here, but then they also said time was running out. So it's
yeah, because there's these little like spots of light that if you jump through it, like pauses time. So a dog jumps through it and it like loses all its skin or whatever, and then jumps out of it. And then later, it's important for the astrolabe.
So yeah, now they have to play Wipeout on this thing. Before they,
I like how they're just
crushed,
climbing over it because they don't know what to do, and they're like, it must have something to do with this thing, so let's just climb on it.
He figures out the puzzle. I don't know how.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to put the thing underneath the thing. Obviously, you get
like, give me the clock.
You guys so stupid. You gotta do backflips.
Alex, give me the clock. I know what to do.
And then she grabs the clock. She puts it in her pants, and then I saw her shove that thing right in the middle of her pants, and then she went under the clock, and because she didn't bring any. But like, did you see her pants?
Yeah.
She's wearing like skin tight. She didn't have any other room in there.
No, but in reality, you're in Siberia. You'd be wearing like 12 pants.
You would be wearing 12 pants. I'm surprised she didn't put in her bra.
No, well, it's already stuffed. So
it's already overstuffed. Yeah. So she shoves it in there, and then she just
gets sucked up into the sun, and then she
gets spit out with the triangle piece.
The second part of the triangle.
Yeah.
So she had half of the triangle from Cambodia and half of it from Siberia. And then they're like, oh, she did it. And the old Illuminati guy, like, gives his speech of, like, we are honoring our ancestors.
So we're to put these pieces together, and then...
But he's taken too long with his speech, and Powell's like, enough of this.
Yep, it slowly moves in on Powell's face sweating, and then it's just like, shoot him.
Yeah, so he's dead, and... He's like, now I have the triangle. Let me put it together. And of course, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And then he's like, oh, Laura, clever girl.
To solve the puzzle for me. Oh, wait, he's not British. Wait, is he British?
He's British.
Oh, you got to solve the puzzle for me. And then he knifes Alex.
So he's not even going to ask her to do it. He's like, I'm going to kill this dude. And that will make you solve the puzzle. So
I hate that guy.
He throws the knife at him, stabs him, and then Alex falls into the water and then gets crushed by the
which is crazy that he's
machine.
Not dead already because it totally looked like he just like
that was a good throw. That like went in there.
Good throw. Bad death scene from Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
He basically went stiff as a board and then like toppled over into the water and I was like, that dude dead. And then he got crushed and he's like, oh, I'm dying. I get crushed. I was like, you were dying when you got stabbed.
And then Lara Croft jumps into the water like she still has her hands up and she just like bloop.
Don't throw knives at me. And then she gives him mouth to mouth, but it doesn't work because they're under last kiss. Water.
Yeah, he's stuck. I think it was just a kiss. Like
oh, I thought maybe she was trying to give him air.
It was
and
like
then
goodbye.
Eventually, he was like, "Oh, he's dead." So.
And then she gets up, and she's already figured. Of course, those many bullets. She's already figured out the puzzle. It's in the clock. The last piece is the piece in the middle, and so she's like, "Give me your scope, army dude," and then she throws the clock in the light thing that slows time, and it opens up the clock, and she just sticks her hand in there, no effect, and takes out the tiniest little grain of sand to put into the clock, they put in the triangle, and
then
they're both holding the triangle.
Trippy sequence.
So there's this like giant pyramid.
They have to race up this time pyramid to touch the time light.
And Lara Croft's faster. And because stupid lawyer, like, you gotta work out like Lara Croft does.
Silly boys. You didn't do bungee jumping.
And then she gets spirited away to the tent where her father was. This is an interesting movie because Angelina Jolie and her father don't actually get along. And then they repaired their relationship right before doing this movie. And so, because he was not a good father to her, shocker. But I don't think they have the best relationship after this movie.
And then they lost it anyway.
Yeah. And so he's in the tent and she's like, you could have told me. And he's like, you're a little girl. I was trying to protect you and inspire you and not telling you what an asshole I was. So we're with the Illuminati.
I think it's funny that he was like, you've got to you can't control time. Yeah. You gotta destroy the time thing. You shouldn't be able to control time. That's bad. And she's like,
why can't we use the power just this once?
Mother, Poppy, I want to control time, though. He's like, don't know.
You must destroy the triangle. And she's like, I feel so alone.
I'm so sad. I want to control time, Father.
I'm with you always, as I've always been, but not because he's been gone since 1985.
Since she was 6,
yeah.
So.
I don't know if she was 6, though. She just looked 6.
She looks 6.
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
So she's like, fine.
I guess I can destroy the magical time triangle.
Whatever, I gotta do the right thing.
Reluctantly.
And so it comes back to the time right as Mr. Powell throws the knife at Alex. It's like halfway between.
The knife is weighted by time. It's
and
so
so
heavy.
she like slowly walks up to it. Everyone else is frozen, and then she has to turn the knife around.
And before she even starts to turn that knife, she decides to go two-handed on the knife.
Both sides.
With her hand on the blade to turn it. And I was like, do you
You can do 2 hands just on the end of the blade.
But nope.
But no, she's got to show that sacrifice.
Whatever.
Cut her hand open.
I'm not going to tell you how to move time knives.
But I'm like, she's also fighting after this. I'm like, your hand is like messed up.
Yeah.
And then
time fixes it. It's okay.
Yes, time fixed it. So she does that, and then she shoots.
Heals
she does her little spinny shoot thing, and she shoots the triangle, and then time speeds up back to normal. Time is a construct.
Time is apparently a triangle.
Pal gets the knife right in the upper shoulder, so he's fine.
But he passes out.
Yeah, he's on the ground. That got to be a lot of force.
He does the same shit that Daniel Craig does, where he goes
stiff as a board and then falls down.
But he was faking it. Mm-hmm. Well, so was Daniel.
Yeah.
Alex Greg.
I like how then the soldiers, the room starts to shake and the soldiers are like, yeah, we're out.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah, we don't like this. And then Pal is taunting her. He's like, your father
begged for his life.
And this is where we find out that Pal actually shot her father.
Look, I kept his locket.
He betrayed
he's
got the pocket watch.
Come over here and kill me harder, Laura.
He's got the pocket watch with Laura's mom's picture in it, which is the creepiest thing ever.
Every night. I loved your mom, Laura. Why I killed your dad. It's not true. That's not the plot. No, but can you imagine?
I'm like, why else would you keep the pocket watch? Weird. Besides, he's a real weird serial killer. It's like a trophy, but he's carrying it around with him next to his heart.
Anyway, Alex is like, Laura, don't. And she's like,
I'll be right back, silly boy.
Oh, silly boy. You don't understand.
And so they all leave, and it's just her and him, and they're
pointing guns at each other, and he says, no guns. And she's like, okay.
I'll kick your ass anyway.
Kick your ass anyway with my strong legs. So they fight, and she does win. She throat chops him at the end. She does. Although she was definitely losing.
He kicked her ass at the beginning. She's on the ground. She got spit up blood, and then she's like, all right, I'll get my boxing in. But yeah, she needs to keep it a little tighter for him. She's all over the place.
Silly boy, never keep your neck exposed. And then after she neck chops him and the ceiling starts to come down, she runs out of the cave, and there's just
she takes the pocket watch back first. She's like, that's my mom. And then everything everything explodes and she's like running out of there. The water's all over the place.
There's 2 dogs waiting for her on a broken sled.
It was
Very
like,
polite.
there was like 4 of them.
Very nice of those dogs.
Yeah, the whole thing's shaking. I'm like, those dogs would have been out of there before anyone else. But then her sled's broken, so she's just gotta
use her legs.
Use her feet.
Which would hurt, but whatever.
Yeah, that would be some friction.
Magical feet.
And then she's like, oh, this is so fun. I'm having the time of my life.
Hip, hip. Let's go, dogs.
And
now they're back at her house.
And she comes down the stairs and she's wearing a dress.
A sundress and an ugly hat.
The butler drops his tray of tea because he's like, oh my goodness.
You look like a woman now.
He's wearing a dress.
Instead of just nude in front of me. Quite a change of pace.
Your employer. Oh my gosh. And then she goes to visit the memorial, which is like the tent.
Okay, so is it like an actual tent or is it like a statue
it's like
of a tent?
It's like a statue of a tent.
Yeah.
Like it's like concrete.
That's kind of tight though.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it has like lost but not forgotten. But now we know that he's dead. I think she knew all along, but it was now Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed.
And then there's a butterfly that's there, I'm sure, for some reason. And
CGI butterfly.
Yeah. And then she comes
Couldn't
back.
get a real butterfly.
You gotta train those butterflies.
Come here, butterfly. Land.
Here's some nectar. She comes back into the house and the butler and her nerd friend is there, and the nerd friend takes a picture of her, but like it's not like Sly, like he's got like one of those professional cameras and it takes a while to like set up the shot, and she's just standing there.
Shoves in the powder, like starts flip the thing, flash.
No, hold 3 more minutes.
Yeah, hold on. Just stand there like that. Perfect.
And then the butler's holding a tray and it's got a white napkin on it, and it's got her guns on it. Those are big ass guns.
Yeah. Well, I think she uses Magnum guns.
Yeah,
they're huge.
And
anyway, the robot's fixed. He fixed it, so now she gets to shoot at it.
Where's your head?
That's the.
Where's your
It's
head
a freeze frame of her shooting in the middle of the living room, like not even in the training.
Yeah, they
room.
just cleaned up the freaking house, and now she's gonna destroy it again.
Enablers, enabling. Lara Croft.
And that is Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Yep.
What are we watching next month?
I don't know. Surprise.
Surprise.
We'll figure it out later.
We watching Mario?
Maybe. Who knows? I saw Mario. You haven't.
I have not.
You have to see Mario. Maybe.
We'll
see. Keep you on your toes. Tune in next month for a surprise.
Surprise.
Pip pip cheerio.